At the time when the church was on a spiritual high, at the time when these people have made a mark in Antioch, so much so they got the name Christians because they were followers of Christ. At that time, Herod became angry because the focus was not on Herod anymore. It was now Christ-centered. Who was behind Herod? Well, I come here to tell you it was Lucifer himself, working through Herod and behind Herod. And I want you to know that we have some Herods in our world today. Every time you leave morning worship and you leave off a spiritual high, somehow during the course of the day you may encounter a Herod. Family life is destroyed. And then we see consistent divorce because we don't realize it's Herod. We recognize that people are hanging themselves and they don't realize that there was a Herod. We see people committing suicides, murders, killings, and these things are happening before our very eyes. But when we see these things, we should do what? Look up, because our redemption draweth nigh. This is the time when the church should be praying like. But then, social media has taken over. Where there should be study of the word, there is many distractions all around us. But I'm happy that as a church we can recognize the importance of prayer. It was when Joshua prayed that the sun stood still. Daniel, God heard Daniel's prayer, and the lions had lockjaw. Hear me, the 3 Hebrew boys, God heard their cry, and they were delivered from a fire. So when we are attacked by the enemy, what should we do? You think it not strange? The church will be persecuted. It was just last year, just about last year, summer pastor, Ella Gordon, my wife, was in China. And she could hardly find a place to worship. Adventists in China, they are worshiping. It was six individuals there in a little house that she could find to worship with. You cannot be a part of a church in China unless it is organized by the government. And you must have an ID to show. So people have to be worshiping underground. You have a nice edifice here, but people in other places are persecuted for what they believe. But thank God there are people there who are standing anyway. You may not see it yet, but it's coming. After every mountain, there comes a valley. But I am reminded by the songwriter that it's in the valley he restoreth my soul. We thank God for the mountains. And we thank God for the valleys, because it's the valleys, sometimes the valley experience that we go through that brings us closer to God. One song says it's the trials that brings us close to Jesus. It is the trials that bring blessings untold. It's the trials that will take us to heaven. It's the trials that makes pure gold. But there are many of us who are looking for a church without problems. Well, if that's the church you want, you're in the wrong church. Are you hearing me? The disciples had theirs. If you want a church without problems, Matthew 7:14, Jesus says you should enter through a straight gate. And the straight is spelled how? S-T-R-A-I-T and not S-T-R-A-I-G-H-T. Why? What's the difference? S-T-R-A-I-G-H-T speaks to a straight line. Am I right? But S-T-R-A-I-T means what? Rough, difficult, problematic. challenging, adversity, strict. And this is the road Christ said we should walk. For broad is the gate that leads to destruction, and many there be that go in thereat. Revelation 7 verse 14 says to us, these are they that came out of great tribulation. Why? Because they have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. The washing of the robe, my friend, is speaking about a character, a change of character. When the hardship comes, they found the answer down on their knees. The solution the songwriter says, the solution to my problem, Jesus gave them to Satan thought, or Herod thought. He had me bound. But Jesus sets me free. When he gave me the answer, I was down on my knees.